We're standing in Heritage State Park in Fall River.
We are.
Battleship Cove is right in front of us.
Yep,
there's the USS Massachusetts, and there's the USS Lionfish, and there's the USS Joseph B. Kennedy Jr. out there on the water. You know they're part of the museum now. People can visit anytime.
Right, all true. And to our left is where the Quequechan River spills into the cove.
There's not much of the Quequechan these days. It's mostly been covered up by the city of Fall River.
So the word Quequechan is an Algonquin word that means falling river.
Got it. Well, I'm guessing that's where we get the name Fall River today.
That's where we get it. So the reason we're here is because up on that hill behind us, there was once an enchanted and haunted shack of a house that was said to be home to a witch. We're here to search for the old crone of the Quequechan. Hello, I'm Jeff Belanger, and welcome to episode 410 of the New England Legends podcast.
And I'm Ray Auger. Thank you for joining us on our mission to chronicle every legend in New England one story at a time. Did you know most of our story leads come from you? This one did. Thanks to Shane Camber for emailing us through our website. If you've got a story you think we should check out, you can do the same thing. We love hearing from you.
We'll search for the old crone of the Quequechan right after this word from our sponsor.
This region was inhabited for many centuries by the Pocasset Wampanoag. After Plymouth Colony was settled in 1620, eventually some of those colonists made their way down to Freetown and settled at Assonet Bay. As the decades passed, the Quequechan River turned into an engine that powered dozens of mills. Given the close proximity to the ocean, the raw materials could come in and the produced goods could go out. Fall River prospered.
It did. And it's in close proximity to one of these old mills that we first learn about this enchanted cabin said to be home to a witch of a woman who would cast her spells inside. So let's head back to the year 1845 and look for the old crone of the Quequechan.
It's early April of 1845 here in Fall River, Massachusetts. It's a spooky time. Edgar Allan Poe published his poem, The Raven, back in January. That's been getting a lot of attention, of course. President James Polk was sworn in as the 11th president of the United States just last month. In Fall River, the textile factories are humming along. The Industrial Revolution is in full swing.
It is. There are tons of jobs to be had. The mills have no trouble filling available positions. Now, that doesn't mean some mills have a better reputation in the community than others, but there's one mill in particular that has its employees a little spooked. That would be the Watupa Mill on the southern bank of the Quequechan River.
Now, what's spooking the workers at the Watupa Mill?
Well, the mill itself is okay, but it's what's located right across the river that has everyone on edge.
Yikes. I see a miserable-looking hut perched up there on the rocky overhang above the falls of the river. You could tell the log hut wasn't well built. The logs seemed to be piled together rather than cut into place. I can't imagine anyone lives there. In some spots, I can see the roof has fallen in.
Yeah.
And what a dangerous place to put a house, too. If the ledge breaks, the whole thing would tumble into the river far below.
They say that's where the old crone of the Quequechan lives.
Come on, no one can live there. I mean, look at that place.
Yeah, I see what you're seeing. I agree, it doesn't look livable. But people claim to see strange lights flashing from inside the shack on dark nights and in storms.
Whoa, did you hear that?
I did. They say you can hear the old witch cackle from inside, too.
I'm getting a chill just staring at the shack.
So no one knows for sure who built it or why they put it in that precarious spot. And though years of weather and neglect have taken its toll, it's still standing there, almost mocking those of us who dare to stare.
One mill worker told me that he's seen red and blue flames coming out of the shack on dark days, yet it doesn't burn down.
Some locals have flexed their beer muscles and threatened more than once to march up there and either burn the shack to ashes or push the whole thing off the cliff into the river below. But that's just talk. In truth, no one wants to go near it. Now, one cold and dark December night, the light pouring out of the cracks and crannies of the shack was so bright, people could see it almost like a lighthouse beacon. Still, people stay away. They say that's the hut of the old crone of the Quequechan.
Recently, a local boisterous man named Stephen Davis decided enough was enough with the whispers about the old crone and her shack. The 23-year-old Davis calls a meeting in a local shop where he asks for volunteers to head up to the shack to do what others have threatened to do, but couldn't find enough courage. There's a group of people assembled in the shop watching on.
Davis suggests they hold a Bible as their shield and move as a group into the hut to investigate. Another local man named Lot Lee suggests they send for the minister and a sonnet to help.
Joel Wilson thinks they leave the whole thing alone. And Mark Woodward suggests they form a committee, that they arm themselves with weapons and move as a group and attack whatever beast or demon may lurk inside the hut. Everyone in the shop is getting pretty worked. Are you seeing what I'm seeing?
I am.
The door to the shop just flew open, and standing there is an old hag of a woman. She's hunched over with a long, wart-covered nose. Her mouth hangs half open with a sinister grin that smiles from ear to ear. Tufts of gray and black hair stick out from under her scarlet-colored kerchief and from her chin. Her ears look like wrinkled shoe leather, and she's wearing a scarlet robe that matches her kerchief.
The old crone just placed one of her pointy feet on the threshold of the door. She's sticking her head into the room and scanning like a predator, looking for which prey to pounce on first.
Who talks of throwing me or mine in the Quequechan? Who talks of priests and Bibles? Who of guns and fire?
She's raising her bony finger and pointing it at Davis.
Thou braggart, thou Stephen Davis, talk of stirring up spirits. Thou who dare not enter a cellar in the daytime, talk of firing my hut. I would like to see thee alone, within a rod of its entrance when I am there. Out upon thee, thou scorn of thy race.
Now she's looking at the other men.
All dumb are ye, my masters? Oh, ye are a valiant band, truly. Me burn my hut, will ye? No, the man is not here that dare do that.
The old crone is gliding across the room, almost brushing against some of the petrified men who shake with fear as she draws close. Suddenly, Welcome Brownell steps from the corner where he had been sitting and raises his hand.
Oh, man.
Wow, he just punched the crone right between the eyes, which she fell to the floor like a sack. I don't think she's breathing.
I don't see her chest moving at all. I think she's dead. The room is silent. No one seems to believe what just occurred before our eyes.
Wait, look, she's switching.
Her body's spasming. This is totally unnatural. She's rising up again. Now she's staring dead in the eyes of Welcome Brownell. She's panting like an animal about to attack.
Laugh, imp of the fiery world, but know ye, my revenge is certain and speedy.
She just snatched Brownell's 1-year-old child from his wife's lap, and now she's darting out the door. I've never seen anyone move that fast, let alone an old woman. The crowd of men are chasing after the crone and the kidnapped baby.
Okay, the old crone just stopped and is now facing the charging crowd. She's holding the baby and threatening to snap its neck.
Oh, ye dastards, fire in my hut, will ye? Eh? Fire it, but know ye knaves, while you destroy with fire. The crone of the Quequechan destroys with water.
Look, Lot Lee's sneaking up from behind the witch.
Lee just snatched the child back from the crone and knocked the old woman to the ground.
Okay, now Lee's placing his foot on the chest of the witch lying on the ground.
The other men found some rope and they're tying up the old crone's feet and hands. They're carrying her off towards the hut on the hill.
This mob of men intend to end this deviltry for good.
When the crowd reaches the hut, they try opening the door, but it's stuck. No matter how hard they push, the door won't yield.
Stephen Davis is breaking through the wooden walls with a rock. Pretty soon, the mob forces their way inside while carrying the tied-up old crone.
Inside the hut is completely empty, except for a pile of straw hay in the corner that must be her bed, and a lone stool in the middle of the room. It looks like Davis has found a small box in the pile of straw.
Oh, whatever's in that box has made the old crone furious.
Davis is pulling out an old letter from the box. Let me read it. All right, it says, Boston, June 10, 1700. Mary, I am in the iron grasp of the king's bloodhounds. Take care of thyself. And it's signed Kid.
The room is silent. The old crone is seated quietly on the stool in the center of the room, now free from her ropes. Who are you?
The last mistress of Kid, the pirate.
And with that, the old crone is walking out the door. No one's stopping her. She's taking one last look at her hut, then fading off onto the high road leading to Newport. And that brings us back to today. And that was the last time anyone ever saw the old crone of the Quequechan. Her hut rotted into nothing, and today the entire landscape looks nothing like it did 175 years ago. There's highways and houses up on the hill now, and all the old mills are gone, and the Quequechan is pretty much a stream, but the story remains.
Most of what we know about this story was pulled from the September 19, 1953 Herald News, which was quoting some news accounts from a century earlier.
New England is full of stories of old hags and witches who live on the outskirts of our towns and villages, drawing whispers and rumors. These women live alone. They were old. People feared them. And when you're scared, there's just no telling how far you'll go.
Don't run off just yet, because we've come to After the Legend, where we take a deeper dive into this week's story and sometimes veer off course.
After the Legend's brought to you by our Patreon patrons, of course. We can't do what we do without them. They kick in just $3 per month, and that helps with our hosting, marketing, travel, production, and all the other costs it takes to bring you 2 podcasts each week. They get early ad-free access to new episodes, plus bonus episodes and content no one else gets to hear, and access to our entire archive of shows going all the way back to 2017. Just head over to patreon.com/New England Legends to sign up. And to see some photos of the mills of the Quequechan and Fall River, click on the link in our episode description or go to our website. Click on episode 410.
Been a while since we've done a witch story.
I know. This one was I mean, this is right out of the paper. Those the lines, everything. Like we that's where we pulled these stories. And when you go there today, I mean, you would never know. It's just, it's so modern, with houses and the highway and everything else. This is a funny story. I had one time thought maybe this was its own podcast, and I don't know, maybe it is. But do you know what the official city motto of Fall River is?
I don't.
We'll try.
We'll try?
We'll try.
We'll try. We'll do okay.
It's right there on the side of the police cruisers. We'll try. I'm not kidding.
On the police cruisers?
Because it's the town seal. We'll try.
Oh, my God.
They get mocked quite a bit for this.
You think?
I do. But here's where it came from. So there was the Great Fire of 1843. And it was absolutely devastating. It was July 2nd. A couple of boys were near a warehouse. They were playing with, fire and matches. And all of a sudden, it just went up like a tinderbox. And the breeze started blowing the fire from building to building to building. The fire department was all volunteers, so people are literally using bucket brigades to try to fight a city-wide fire. In the end, over 200 buildings, including 3 churches, 2 hotels, and 3 banks, were all burned up until finally it stopped around Franklin Street, just by a luck of nature. 1,300 people, which was about 1 in 5, were now homeless. And thankfully, no one died in the blaze. People were able to evacuate. But the damage was just absolutely inconceivable. And then in all this rubble, someone put up a sign that basically it just said, "We'll try." And it was basically like to show determination. Like, this city could have been ruined. It could have been gone forever. But we're going to try, and that stuck.
There's a better way to say it, and I don't know what it is.
We will survive. We will come back.
We will prosper.
Yeah.
We will always try. Maybe that's better. We'll always give 100%. I don't know.
So
we'll try.
One of the greatest philosophers of our time once said, "Do or do not. There is no try."
That's right, yeah.
I believe that was Yoda.
That's pretty amazing that no one voted that out over the years.
It's still there.
We need to be better. We can't just try. We need to be better.
Let's get that witch on the hill out of that shack and get her gone for good. We'll try.
We'll try.
We'll try.
Which,
yes.
Today, it means, we're not going to. Can you find that stolen bicycle?
We'll try.
Yeah, we'll try.
Can you solve that murder?
We'll try.
We'll give it a go. We'll give it a go. So the Great Fire, keep in mind, was just a couple of years before this story allegedly took place. And so they were still rebuilding and still spooked.
Yeah.
Dangerous place.
All they need is a witch at that point. It's like, oh, what next?
Yeah. You've got this creepy shack. You remember being kids. Remember? Did you have the abandoned house in the woods?
I think every town did.
Oh, thank God they did. Right. I remember walking into one, And we went upstairs, and we're little kids, and boy, were we stupid. This abandoned farmhouse had been abandoned a long time. No glass left in it. All the windows open to the elements. And the upstairs floor looked like, just a sag. It was sagging all around.
Ready to cave in.
Absolutely. And you're looking at that going, well, no floor is supposed to look like that. And if you walked in the middle, I have no doubt it could have collapsed.
Yeah.
And then the whole building comes down on top of you and you die.
And you guys were smart enough not to walk on it? You walked on it. Of course you did.
So
we don't know any better back
then.
then.
It's a miracle we made it out of adolescence. It really is. But yeah, you've got this house. And so first of all, abandoned, creepy place calls to you. Why did someone leave it behind? Why did someone leave a standing structure behind? What's
There's
in
a
there?
story. There's got to be a story.
There's got to
behind
be a
that.
story. And I
It's usually a dead body in the basement. Oh, the owner's in the basement,
of course they are. Yeah, that's where you keep them. In my town, there was two that we could ride our bikes to, like we could get to, and one of them still had curtains in the kitchen.
Oh, that's creepy.
Like it was just something about those old curtains. I'm like, someone just left this place,
Right?
Including the curtains up, and you were just like, ugh.
Usually when you move, you take everything out.
Take everything.
Including the curtains.
Yeah, it was really free. It was like a kitchen table, and the curtains were up. Just inches of dust everywhere, debris, beer cans, everything that you would expect, and it was so frightening. And then we just start making up stories. We knew nothing. We didn't know a thing.
Then the paper picks up on your stories,
Yes.
which are obviously fake,
Right.
and it becomes fact.
And then 150 years from now, some podcast is going to be like, yeah, and the body's in the basement.
What we just did came from a 8-year-old boy in Fall River,
I don't know.
bragging to his friends, making up stories. He was known as the town liar.
So the witch, the Crone of the Quequechan appears in a few newspaper articles way back, right? So this one was the most thorough. It told the whole story, or at least the whole legend. And even a century earlier, there was mention of it. So like people knew of this thing.
Yep.
It was around town, but it sort of stuck. It stuck to the point where one of our listeners emailed and said, "Have you heard of this?" And I was like, "I have not heard of it." And then when I found that article, I went, "Oh, this is incredible!
That's a cool story.
What a cool story!" And
the fact that a handful of men were afraid of her, were scared of her, like she was enough of a witch, to cause panic.
And by the way, we should mention, if that letter was sent to her in 1700 and the story's taking place in 1840s,
Oh yeah,
she would have been 160,
right? A witch.
all right. Who lives that long?
I love the guy that had enough and just stood up and punched her in the face.
Oh my
Just
God.
to end things.
Well,
enough. Boom.
That's the story. That's right out of the paper. So the other thing I should point out is that, and we won't say exactly where, it's right near Heritage Park. If you're standing in Heritage Park and you turn your head and you just move your body 360 degrees, you'll see
it.
You'll see the Quequechan, what's left of it. You'll see the bay. You'll see the boats, and you'll see where the cliff used to be. And now it's like condos or houses up there, and you just want to go knock on one of the doors and be like, "Hey, probably right about here."
Did you know?
Let me just leave you this newspaper article. It would have been about where your bedroom is, probably in the back. Right?
How much was your house? Oh, we got a great deal on it. Of course you did.
Bet you did.
You want to know the backstory?
Yeah, here's why you did. So yeah, something like that where you've been living there peacefully for years and years, no problems, and then you listen to this podcast and you go, "Oh no!
How many lives have we ruined with these things?"
That's where we are." Like, don't worry. I'm sure the land's been graded. It was further out.
I sometimes I send these things to the local chamber of commerce, or the group town page or whatever, and I wonder why I don't get a lot of positivity in return, because some of these things are scary. Nobody wants this in their town, or know that they could be living on the spot where this witch was,
or they treated a person like this, right?
Yeah.
That's
that too.
So the witch stories. This one's slightly different. Usually, witches are the ward of the town, and
every witch story we've done, you got to kind of feel bad for the witch,
of course. Yeah.
Crazy woman, but probably made crazy by the town.
Wasn't allowed to own land or businesses, didn't have a husband or kids to take care of her, and so became a ward of the town and was given the scraps.
Right.
And was like, I didn't sign up for this.
Right. Kids probably threw rocks at him.
Yeah. Not fair. Not fair at all. And so this one's a little different in that, like, we never knew her story. She's just this mysterious figure in this broken down shack with strange lights coming from it.
Yeah.
And you whisper about it to the point where it keeps coming up all these years later.
And just a reminder that we're getting close to launching our new podcast that features interviews with you. If you've had a strange encounter in New England, maybe a ghost, weird creature, UFO, or some odd encounter with odd history, please email us through our website. We may want to talk to you for a future episode. Please also be sure to subscribe to our podcast, post a review for us, tell your friends about us. That's how our community grows.
We'd like to thank Tracy Cosgrove for lending her voice acting talents this week. Thank you to our sponsors, our Patreon patrons, and our theme music is by John Judd.
Until next time, remember,
The Bazaar is closer than you think.